like maybe there's that one thing that maybe you talk about maybe a little too much, right? Like that one thing that no one even has to bring up, but you will randomly, and then maybe you have like that one friend, family member, whoever, and they're just like, okay, we get it, enough already, right? I mean, that's what I figured, but I mean, you never know. So today, we're gonna talk about those 3 things that I feel like maybe I will talk about a little too much. Now, obviously, I don't mean these in a bad way, of course, and I would hope, no one would take it that way, of course. I mean, all of these things I am a fan of, and granted, it might not be like an all the time thing, but sometimes I feel like it definitely does kind of go on a little too long, you know what I mean? So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So now I'm not really gonna do these in order, honestly, I'm just gonna name some. So like I said, there's 3 things that I'll maybe talk about maybe once in a blue moon. Sometimes I feel like it's a lot, but so that one of the things I feel like right now is maybe kind of obvious. That's a hint. So if you know, you know. Maybe a little. Like I said, I don't feel like, obviously it's not in a bad way. Like I said, I am fans of all of these things. Okay. Now, of course, again, I feel like everyone by now knows my love for boy bands. In my videos, when I'm doing them in my room, like now, I feel like that's pretty obvious. There's even some over here on my door that you kind of can see. This is a little poster board that I made. I took pictures from an old calendar after I was done with it, taped them on there, and added in their names and like certain songs. I didn't really feel like throwing it away, you know what I mean? I do have another one that's off camera above my bed that I also did. Like I said, you can't see it, but I feel like pretty much every year, like on NSYNC Day, when October gets here, that I will kind of make the same post a lot, and it's usually basically, thanking them for getting me through quite a lot. I have been a fan since the beginning, 95, which makes me feel so old. But I'm happy to have stayed a fan, like I said, now, after so many years. And I'm pretty much, like I said, always thanking them for getting me through quite a lot. As a kid with being bullied, reasons I'll never understand, but whatever. In 2021, when I lost my friend from high school, mental health in general, breakups, pretty much kind of like the list goes on, you know what I mean? And pretty much after like every one of those, moments that happened, I always go to their music. You know, I mean, really music in general, honestly, but they're one of the first bands I will go to. You know, I've mentioned before, they are my emotional support band for a reason. You know, so like I said, I literally can't thank them enough, you know, for getting me through all of those moments when I really needed it. You know, I think one of the main ones is probably when I lost my friend. I was a wreck, which probably understandable, of course. You know, I didn't expect that so soon. You know, wasn't too far in age with me. You know, only like a year younger. You know, so it was just kind of wild. You know, it was weird going on Facebook. We all know by now they have the pokes for some reason. I still don't understand it. It's still weird after not even 4 years later, you know, that, you know, I'll go on and not get that notification. You know, when his birthday comes around, I can't text him, you know, and tell him happy birthday. I still, around mine, expect it. You know, I haven't even deleted his number from my phone. That's how hard it's been. So, again, I literally cannot thank those 5 guys enough. You know? So, number 2. I've mentioned this a little bit, maybe not too much on here, but, you know, I have my emotional support band, like I said. I also have a emotional support TV show. And that one TV show that I will always put on is Friends. And like I said, I can't thank them enough. You know, you got reruns on TV, of course. You know, I have 1 through 10 seasons on DVD, so I am probably, you know, never not watching it. You know, that was pretty much the same way before Netflix took it off. I'm still sad about that. I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, like I said, whenever I need that laugh, you know, just to put my mind at ease, I will put that on. Again, you know, if that was like how iTunes used to, if they kept track on how many times I watched it, it would definitely be up there in numbers. I don't know the exact amount, but it would be a lot. Plus, if I'm watching it every night, like, I will mention some random little facts, you know, that I know from the show. You know, like either from the internet, I'll see, or when watching their reunion special, when they put that out, which I think was, what, 2021, I think, 22, I don't remember exactly when now, and I kind of hate that, somewhere around there, I think. But, you know, I mean, you learn a little bit, you know. I know some facts about these guys, you know, not a whole lot, you know, but there's those certain things that I remember, you know. That's how it was with the show. And my dad will usually be like, yeah, we know, like, I'm sorry, I guess. It's not like I'm saying these every day, you know, and I'm just some stuff I happen to know. Not my fault. Alright, number 3. Now, if I was actually doing these in order, like I said, this one probably would have been number 1. The one thing that I feel like, especially lately, that I have been talking about maybe kind of a lot. So, again, I think everyone knows by now my current crush on a certain basketball player. Right? You in the back. You get it, right? You in that little corner right there. Yeah. You right there. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Right behind them. You peeking. Okay. But if you didn't know, AG, Aaron Gordon. I mean, now I'm trying to cut back, I swear. I feel like, like I've mentioned before, it's probably just all in my head. I'm getting on people's nerves. You know, I'm certain. But it's not my fault. Like I said, I feel like all of these things should be talked about. You know, you got 5 talented guys. You know, people on Friends who are fairly funny, at least to me. And again, a very talented basketball player who also raps and sings. Someone whose music that I've mentioned before, that I listen to every one of his songs. They're literally all on repeat. They literally all made it to now I started listening to, or not listening, but using YouTube music on my phone. I want to say it was maybe in December last year, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. You know, I've always had it on my phones, you know, and I never really thought to use it, to be honest. You know, I was either on YouTube watching the actual videos or a lyric video or something, or mostly using Pandora, or I had started using Spotify, I think last year. One of those, you know. So I finally started to use that, you know, like I said, the app. So all of his songs have literally made it once again to my what do they call it? Repeat mix, I think it's called. And like I said, I've told you guys, when I'm listening to his music, I literally smile the whole way through. And that is probably literally the most I have smiled in quite a long time. I'm not gonna lie. Like, within the 9 years I have been single. I don't know if that says something or not. You know, like I said, I've done it with NSYNC. You know, when they put out Better Place for the Trolls movie, and when Justin put out his album last year, and they were featured on Paradise. You know, I couldn't help it. You know, now granted, that was probably because we had gone so many years, you know, 20-some years without hearing all of their voices together. You know, because again, obviously, we're only used to hearing one. His face is kind of cut off, but you know who I mean, Justin. So having all 5 guys together once again, you know, being on a song, it was literally everything, you know. And like I said, that's how it's been with Aaron's music. I literally will, like, every now and again, I'll imagine him being on my channel, you know, just doing like a little Q&A kind of, you know. I can dream. I mean, awesome to have someone on my channel, you know. But yeah, like I said, I don't feel like any of these are in a bad way, obviously. You know, since I've been a fan for so long, again, of all three, you know, so if someone just happens to see a tweet that I put out on Twitter, you know, post on Instagram, wherever, I could say that I'm sorry, but I'm kind of not, in a way, you know, like, these things should be talked about. Like I said, all of these things really have helped with my mental health, and I can't thank them enough, you know. Not saying any of them would see my videos, but that would be really awesome if they did. I'm not gonna lie, of course. So, I know I've like done that twice. I literally hate this piece of hair that keeps, anyway, if you know. But anyway, so there are my 3 things that I feel like I kind of talk about a little too much. Like I said, never in a bad way, of course. I mean, why would I? Be kind of dumb. So, down in the comments, are you guys kind of the same way with certain things? You know, like if you're around family, friends, whoever, will you bring up some random subject? Maybe not all the time, but maybe like every once in a while, you know, when you're all together. Let me know in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it wasn't much, but we will go back to regular scheduled, what is it I'm trying to say? Role plays. I promise. Wednesday, oh my god. Sunday. I promise. So, thumbs this up if you enjoyed it. Just definitely hit that subscribe button. Social media links are always linked down below to follow me everywhere else, so definitely do so. And as always, stay safe out there, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.